Girl, stop playing.
Y'all already know that I believe you can make the money and you can get the honey. You can have it all as long as you are willing to work. Make sure you like this episode, comment below and share something that you learned, and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on any of our upcoming shows. This episode is brought to you by Work University, which happens to be the first Black woman-owned online trade school on a mission to connect Black women all around the world to the resources that they need so they can turn their skills into new streams of income. For more information, make sure you check the show notes below so that you can register and access our content and our community. Now, this week, we got a man in the building, y'all. You know, they be few and far between, but we got another one who pulled up on us. So we're going to talk about how he makes the money, but we're going to also get into his business a little bit and get into the mind of a man, because y'all know how I like to do. So in the studio today, Mr. Kemoy Martin, who is a full-time traveler worldwide. He's been to like 50 plus countries. I think it's 54. Is it more than 54, that? 54 to be exact. And you are a short-term rental expert. So y'all know I do Airbnb, but I don't do Airbnb the way he does Airbnb. I did it real illegal, real risky, like a way that I don't encourage people to do it. And so he's mastered a legal way. Yeah. So for those of y'all who have been hearing about Airbnb or short-term rentals, period, this is going to be a conversation that you're going to want to tap into. And make sure you stick around to the end. Make sure you check the show notes below so that you can tap into his resource where he's teaching you how you can do what he does. So welcome to the show, Kemoy.
Hey, listen, I'm truly honored to be here. I'm actually curious to know in terms of like the man to woman ratio. Like
it ain't no ratio. Okay. It's like non-existent. My husband be up in here because I can't get the men. Yeah. So you here?
Well, I'm really honored.
Yes, yeah, be honored because I'm happy to have you. Were you nervous when I said we're gonna get in your business a little bit? They usually.
Not at all.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna talk about the business first before we get into your business.
That's
cool. So I know these answers. Obviously, we had a chance to do Black Equity Con together where I got to moderate your panel, and I know you're doing big boss business in the Airbnb space, but how did you get into Airbnb?
So I was actually like building a couple other businesses, but like my main business at that time was pretty much crumbling, right? It was within the marketing and travel realm. And there were things that were happening within the organization that was completely outside my control. Mm-hmm. But at that time, I had built up a high level of residual income. I had this particular lifestyle. I was like, life was good. Mm-hmm. I got very used to that. Mm-hmm. At that point, I was an entrepreneur for about 4 years. So I felt like I had it all figured out, right? But again, some challenges occurred, and it just got to a point where I was like, man, I need something.
This was pre-COVID?
This was pre-COVID.
Okay.
Yeah. So 2017. Well, it's 2017. I was like, I really need to figure something out. But of course, there's really no going back to a job. So I quit my job in 2013. And it was like, I didn't want to just make money. I needed passive income. Like I needed income that I didn't have to be physically in one set place to make, because I had been so used to creating residual income and traveling and really just living life on my own terms that I just needed that. There was no not doing that, right? And I had a good friend of mine, Nikki. She was actually, I want to say she had one, and it's funny because I was literally in the midst of moving into a brand new apartment. And when I pretty much decked it out and got it all finished, I invited a couple of my friends, including Nikki. And as I'm giving them the grand tour of my place, Nikki's like, yo, this would be a really cool place for an Airbnb. Mind you, my mind wasn't even there. I was really more excited about my new place. But about a week or two goes by, and she's like telling me, oh, I just got a unit in your building for Airbnb. And I'm just like, what? So she said it, but she actually really acted on it.
Right.
And then a month or two would go by, and she would share with me like the type of income she's making. And I'm like, okay, we would like travel together, and she's still making money. And I'm like, you know what? I need to really look into this whole Airbnb thing, right? Because I'm seeing my friend do it. And that's why it's so powerful, who you surround yourself with, because it's like, your friends influence you, good or bad. So just seeing her do it, in my mind, I was like, oh, if she could do it, I could do it. It just didn't seem that hard. And I eventually pretty much got to start into the business. Now, what I will say is, you said something about illegally, right? I started that way as well. And so did my friend, right? And again, I saw her not get permission from landlords or property managers. So I was like, oh, I don't got to do it either. So that was pretty much the start. And that's how we got involved. And then even though she was new, I learned a little bit from her, but she was, still new. So we were kind of like figuring it out as we both went.
So what happened with that, doing it illegally?
Yeah, so good question. So I want to say, so the first one was kind of illegal. The second one was, I want to say I actually got permission. Believe it or not, I found that the second one was right around the corner from where I lived. And I saw a for rent sign, called, didn't answer, was searching on Craigslist for properties, came across the same property. In the ad, it said it's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. You can live in one and Airbnb the other unit. So I was like, ding, ding, ding. They're open to it. Mm-hmm. And I eventually got in contact with him, and boom, I rented out that property. So he knew I was Airbnb. The third one, illegal. And what happened was I ended up getting pretty much that third one. Like after like 6 months, they just kept like, they found out. And then like once they found out, I was trying to like try to do it on the low. They were on me.
Yeah.
And I remember like every morning I would like pretty much like look out my email to see if like.
Did I get caught again?
Yeah, I get caught again. And it was just like, eventually it just got to the point where she's like, listen, you're either going to live in this place or you got to go.
Yep.
Which was cool, right? It didn't get too bad. I didn't get like evicted or anything, but it was just like, you know what? It's not worth it. So I had moved out. And after a while, it was just like, this isn't a real business. Like it didn't feel good me looking at my emails every morning, wondering if I got caught today.
Yep.
I didn't want to be in the hope business. I hope I don't get caught today. Mm-hmm. I got to talk to guests and tell them, hey, act like you're my family.
Yep. Don't you go to that office.
Yeah. Like anybody asks you questions, you just friends here, family, whatever. And I was like, I don't want to do this no more. So after that whole experience and, seeing how good the money is, I said to myself, what if I just start getting permission? Mm-hmm. What if I actually really conducted this as a real business? What does that look like? And then I, cultivated a message and just kind of a mentality of actually doing that. And that's when I started like positioning our business model to landlords and property managers in a way where it made sense. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I was like, oh, it's not that hard, right? There's actually opportunity out here. And then from there, it was just like, there's no going back to the illegal way.
Right.
It's just not worth my time.
Listen, the illegal way will have you, damn near locked up. Everything but put in jail. Seriously. And what's worse, well, I don't know. I ain't never been locked up. Me and Guy got an agreement. Your girl ain't going to jail. But
Amen.
Getting evicted, ruining your credit, having to, that is damn near just as bad as being handcuffed and taken away, because the lasting effects are just outrageous. And that's why I wanted to have you on. One of the reasons I wanted to have you on, because when I got into Airbnb in 2018, I did it 100% illegal. I didn't know then that there was, there weren't all these classes and coaches and all of the things. You don't know what you don't know. I knew I wasn't supposed to be doing that, though. Yeah. I knew I wasn't supposed to be doing that. And we got the first one. Literally ended up with 5 within 3 months because that money started rolling in. Yeah. And as a business owner, marketing your business is the biggest beast, figuring out how to bring people in. So the fact that you don't have to market an Airbnb, people are just finding you and booking, that was easy money. So I'm like, if I could do this once, I could definitely do it times 5. Yeah. But when I tell you the stress of getting caught and it wasn't even always the office, it was the neighbors. Mm-hmm. I had guests that came from other countries and they went to the office talking about they're here to check in. Yep. It was just a nightmare. And I feel like it is our duty, at least mine, to warn people, because I feel like people aren't really talking about what's really going on behind the scenes and how you can risk your credit behind these Airbnbs. And like you said, it's just not worth it.
And a lot of people teach that.
They do. They have whole businesses teaching you to do illegal stuff.
You don't have to get permission. Yeah.
It's just not. I can't sleep at night. That's why I give that disclaimer. It's not worth it.
I rather go through 100 no's and get one yes, from a landlord property manager when they understand what I'm doing. Mm-hmm.
And just do it the right way and be able to sleep at night.
Yeah. I'd rather that all day long. Now, you don't have to get 100 no's, but what I'm saying is if it took that to actually do it right, it'll
be worth it.
It'd be worth it.
So you did have a friend who was kind of helping you with the process, who may not have been an expert, but she at least had some experience. Yeah. What were some of the things that you still were not prepared for, that you had to learn the hard way?
Sorry, before you answer, can you lean forward for me? Mm-hmm. I don't know if you need to scoot your chair up just so you can stay closer to the mic.
Posture up. Gotcha.
You want me to ask the question again?
Yes.
Okay. No?
Well, I'll cut it. You can
answer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I would say building a team, outsourcing, delegating, because I was so new into the business, I was doing everything myself. I was cleaning the properties myself, I was answering all the guest questions. Pretty much anything you could think about as far as the business. Like, if a battery in the smoke detector died, if something broke, I was a maintenance man, a cleaner, customer service, finance, whatever, the bookkeeper, all of it. And I just wasn't aware, and again, I got into the business to make passive income, but
that don't sound too passive.
Wasn't too passive. But again, at the same time, I was dealing with a business that was crumbling. So I was just hustling, like figuring this thing out. But the moment I started to realize how much I was involved in this business, I was like, you know what, I really need to figure this thing out and really learn how to create a system and build a team so that way I can really actually have freedom. Because I'm like literally trying to clean, all these properties on a Sunday. I'm trying to go to church. I can't even go to church.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So let me say this though, because I did just say that didn't sound too passive, but I do want to just make note that even passive businesses start out with active work. Yeah. So I do want to say that because we talk a whole lot about having passive income, but even that passive money you got to start it doing the active work. So I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, I always say you can't be passive building passive income.
You hustling backwards.
Yeah.
So you mentioned property managers and landlords. Does your model typically cater to like private rentals versus like going to a leasing office at a major like complex?
Both. What people say now, both.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you cutting side deals with the chicks in the leasing office, or are you doing it legally?
I'm just really legally.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just building relationships and a lot. And sometimes I'll get to the actual owner of the building from the leasing office, especially if like they understand I'm actually doing a business, a legitimate business.
Yeah. And I've noticed too, like the very first place that I had the property at, that I had my unit at, it wasn't legal then, but years later they turned into like an Airbnb friendly community. So even those bigger complexes are starting to realize like, y'all are doing this anyway. We might as well just get a piece of the pie and let y'all continue to do what you're doing. So that's a thing too that you can look for, and it actually exists now.
Yeah.
So do you have to own property? Because that's one question I know a lot of people have. Obviously, you don't have to, but have you had experience like doing Airbnb with properties that you own?
Yeah, so me personally, no, but students, yes. All my properties when it comes to my Airbnb and short-term rental business, all rents arbitrage, all properties that I rent or lease for sure. And you don't have to own properties, but there's nothing wrong with owning. But I love rental arbitrage because like the opportunity to start, it's really quick. Right? Like you can rent faster than you can lease.
Yep.
And also the opportunity to scale up. It's just game changer.
So I know one of the questions people ask you all the time is like, what is a realistic amount of money that they need to have to get started? What is your, and I know it depends because if you're doing a 4-bedroom house, it's going to be much different than a 1-bedroom apartment. Right. But is there like an average, let's say for a 1-bedroom?
Yeah, I'll say about $4,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you could definitely use like business credit and all of the things to be able to lighten the load.
Yeah, leverage credit cards, lines of credit, all that stuff.
You teach this in your class?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He got the keys, y'all.
Yeah, 100%.
Literally. What would you say though is the secret? Because your not tagline, but I guess what I've heard you say several times is that like you have built a 6-figure business working 6 hours a week, and I want to know how.
Yeah. Team. That's all it is, just a team, system. I remember going to an event maybe like a couple years ago, and this person, the speaker was on stage, was like, how many of you guys want to pretty much grow your business, explode your income? And everybody got excited. All right. And she's like, well, you guys need to stop doing minimum wage activities. And when she said that, it was just like, it just hit me in my forehead. I was like, okay, cool. I'm doing every small thing, right? And it's like, I just kind of broke down my business. What is every little thing that it takes for my business to work? And how can I put either a person or some type of thing in there to remove myself so that way it can still run and I'm not in it involved? And that's what I did, right? Obviously, cleaner, boom, hire a cleaner, right? I mean, handyman, things are broken, boom. Self-check-in, so I don't got to, check guests in. There's some type of a digital keypad or lockbox. I got a bookkeeper, they run pretty much, handle all my numbers so they can give me a breakdown of my profits and my losses every single month. It's like everything. everything.
Delegating everything.
It's like, so I can be on a plane.
He be on them planes.
Traveling,
y'all.
and it's like,
yes.
I don't have to miss a beat, and the business doesn't have to miss a beat.
So what are some of the things, I guess, what were some of the first things that you started to give away? Because I think most people start out being their own cleaner. You know, most people obviously start out being the customer service. But what were some of the first things that you started?
Cleaner number one for sure. Right. It was like one Sunday, and it was like really bothering me that I couldn't go to church. It was like, this is crazy. I'm like, I have a job right now. And so random. I went to a funeral, and I saw my line brother. And
I thought I saw some canes over here. On this.
Shout out to the noobs.
Okay.
But I saw my line brother, and I just kind of shared my feeling with him in terms of like, man, I'm cleaning these places. Like, I can't go to certain places. Well, he's like, such and such got a cleaning business, and it was our mutual friend. And I was like, oh, she does have a cleaning business. He's like, yeah, you should reach out to her. And for whatever reason, like, I had reached out to her that day, and she met up with me like that night. And I kind of told her what I was looking for, my problems, and, we kind of worked out like a deal in terms of how much she would want to become a cleaner for me. And it was just like, oh, wow, that was a lot easier than I thought. And like, she started cleaning these properties. Like, she became my cleaner. And it was almost like a light bulb went off, because it was like, day after day, as my units are getting cleaned and people are checking in and I'm seeing the money, I'm just like, why didn't I do this sooner?
You don't know what you don't know.
It's a mental shift. If you're not used to hiring people in your mind, you feel like no one's going to do it like you're going to do it, right? Oh, it may be too expensive or just whatever. It's just the whole nuance of hiring people. It's like completely out of your realm. So a lot of times we think it's a lot harder than it really is, but it doesn't have to be. But it's just one of those things where you just got to do it. Just got to try it. And then once you do it, it's like, oh man, I should have been done. Yeah. But then we want to keep doing it,
So what are some of the ways in your class that you teach people how they can protect their property? Because I know that's always a major concern. It's like, well, what if somebody breaks something? Or like all of the what ifs.
For sure, right? So the cool thing is about Airbnb and similar platforms, they have these like host protections, right? So if like things were to break in the midst of like a guest staying at the property, right, they can document pictures, videos, and all that, and it's pretty much file a case with Airbnb, and they'll essentially reimburse you for these damages, right? So making sure that with your cleaners, like, listen, if you see any damages, we need to take pictures, we need to video this, right? And we need to file a report so that way we can get reimbursed. Also, too, if you want to avoid parties or avoid people just kind of just doing dumb stuff, sometimes people just do dumb stuff.
You go to other people's property and you cut up.
Yeah,
all the time.
We do things in other people's places that we wouldn't do in our own place, right? But people, right? So it's like, all right, what could you do in that case? Well, noise monitors, those are really well, because it number one, it tells you the gauge of the noise level in the property. It also can tell you, if you get certain noise monitors, the amount of cell phones in the property. So if you get a reservation and it says, hey, you got a reservation for 3 people, and you're looking at your noise monitor and you see 15 cell phones in the property, that's a red flag.
You be kicking people out?
Absolutely. So what we do is, number one, if we see there's too many people, we'll let them know, like, listen, your reservation said this amount. Yeah. Like, what's going on? Or if there's a noise level that goes too high, we kind of, it's like 3 warnings, all right? If we have to get to the 3rd warning, we tell them, like, we're going to have to have you leave, and there's no refund.
No refund.
Or ring doorbell, right?
Yeah.
Outside property, it's different things.
But then you got to watch them. Or can you just, like, play it back and see how many people entered?
What do you mean?
Like, because I've done Airbnbs before, and they're like, we're going to watch you when you're entering the unit, to see how many people are coming in. So do you have to literally watch them, or can you just, like, play back footage of when they entered? You
could play back. Okay. Right? You can do a lot. Yeah.
Okay. So you don't have to actually be, like, physically monitoring them.
You don't have to.
Okay. Because that ain't active either.
Or you just
that's not passive
either. You can just have somebody do that too.
You can. So I wanted to ask you about the fact that you don't live in the city where you have the majority of your properties, because I know a lot of people are interested in that as well. They might not live in a quote unquote poppin' city, and they think that Airbnb won't do well. Yeah. Is the team the answer to that too? Like having a team?
Facts.
How do you manage the people when you're not there though?
I always say this: the same way that you would build locally is the same way that you can build nationally. The same way that you build locally is the same way that you can build internationally. And I say this as well, like, if you just because you have properties locally, don't get so comfortable being so available. I remember when I was living by a bunch of my properties, and it's like, I always, my team would always think I'm out the country. Like, they'd be like, they call me Martin. Martin, you around? Nope. Like, I want you guys to get accustomed to me not being around. Yeah. Exactly. And that's leadership.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta inspire and encourage people and your team to figure things out in your absence, because if they feel like you're always present, they're always going to rely on you, and that's going to create weakness within the organization, because any small thing, they're not going to be self-reliant. They're not going to be independent thinkers. Therefore, they're going to constantly need you. Therefore, you're going to be constantly involved in the business.
So, Limitless BNB is your course. We're going to link it below so y'all can check it out. But what are some of the things that they can expect to walk away knowing or understanding, so that they aren't just jumping out there and risking it all?
For sure. So, they're going to, number one, they're going to learn the step-by-step process. So, the way I created this program, right? I wanted to put myself in the shoes of somebody that's never done this before. Maybe they've never done business before. They're just complete amateur, right? Like how I was. So I wanted to break it down very simple and step by step in terms of how to start the business, to, you know, how to grow the business. But also you understand, hey, where can I find a cleaner? Where can I find a handyman, right? What do I say? You know, do you have a script in terms of what I say to landlords and property managers, right? How can I put it all together and have this system, right, running, and this team running without me? Like, all this stuff. There's a Facebook group, right? So if you have any questions, or if you want to connect with other people that's on the journey as well, that's available to you. So it's like, I just wanted to make it simple, but yet so clear and in-depth and step-by-step that you'll be able to understand exactly what to do.
And teaching people, I feel like you're probably teaching people the things you wish you would have known before you got started.
Absolutely.
And the fact that you have the community, I think that people here, you know, you get to be a part of this Facebook group and they kind of take that for granted. But when you're taking a course and you have access to other people who are doing the thing at the same time, like, that's invaluable.
For sure.
To be able to ask those questions that again, you don't know what you don't know until you realize you don't know it. So to be able to ask a person versus just going to Google and hoping that you find the right thing, like, amazing. Don't do what I did, y'all. Let me just say that. Don't do what I did. Okay. Take advantage. I am all about, like, paying to skip the line, paying to skip the struggle, investing to learn from your mistakes, you know, learn from the money you already wasted, the time you've spent, so that I don't have to do the same. So get in where y'all fit in. And I know that you believe in investing too. We're part of a mastermind together. And I love that. I mean, I invest, so I appreciate when other people do it too. What made you say, I'm not just doing Airbnb, I'm going to invest a pretty penny to get around the people, to learn from the people who are really, like, taking things to the next level?
So I've spent a lot of my time and money trying, heavy on the word trying, because you shouldn't try, you should just do, but just trying things on my own. And I was doing that because I felt like, number one, it's cheaper trying to figure things out on your own, right? It's cheaper.
Is it though?
Right. On the front end, it feels cheaper, but on the back end, it becomes a lot more expensive. And I've wasted a lot of time. And I just know, for me, I have all this potential. But the problem is, you can have all the potential in the world, but if you're not in the right environment, the right proximity, the right mentorship, all that potential is going to be untapped. Right. And the moment I got, like, a coach for the first time, it was game over. Like, the results started to happen in a way where it never happened before. And success was able to pretty much be achieved at a rate that was able to happen before. So in my mind, I was like, dang, this is the missing piece. Again, one of those epiphany moments. Why didn't I do this sooner? But it's just like you said, it's literally a shortcut. Because it's like, this is the way how I like to look at it. If you can find somebody that's been doing something for years, they've spent the time, they've spent the money, right? They've gone through the ups, they've gone through the downs, experienced the mistakes, failures, all that, but now have achieved massive success. You can essentially pay them so that way they can teach you not only what to do, but also what not to do. So essentially, it's like you're paying them to avoid years of mistakes and failures. I'll do that all day long,
and it's priceless. I mean, they put a price tag on it. They put a price tag on it, but you can't pay enough to avoid. You know, it's like opportunity cost, right? What is it really gonna cost you if you don't invest? Like, if you don't spend the money up front, like you said, it might be cheaper, but it's definitely gonna be more expensive on the back end. Okay, so we talked about the business. It's time to get in your business. Okay, this first question is real easy though. You travel a lot, obviously, and I saw you do, a video that was like places that I felt safe as a Black man.
Yeah.
What are some of those places? Because I feel like one of the big conversations that I know I was having during COVID was like, I'm about to leave. I'm about to leave the country. I ain't leave, y'all. I ain't go nowhere, okay? But even if I was, I felt like I was serious. Obviously, I was not. But even if I was serious, it's like, where are you going to go that's any better or that you'll be treated well? So what are some of the places that are on your list for like top places that either Black people will feel safe in or just like Black people need to experience?
For sure. I think some of the most underrated places are Guatemala. Guatemala is really dope, and it's not heavily talked about within our culture.
It's not Tulum.
It's not Tulum, right? But Guatemala is very safe. It's there's so much to do. There's a lot of expats, so there are people that literally travel there just for a short trip and they end up just like living there for years. Guatemala has that vibe. El Salvador, a really cool place. I love El Salvador. Where else? Ecuador.
How are you picking the places you go?
So believe it or not, it's a couple of things. Number one, the internet's a beautiful thing, right? So I'm connected with like travelers.
Gotcha.
Right?
People who do this.
Yeah. So like people that's been doing it longer than me. And when you're a traveler, you become very open-minded. So I'm like watching these people like traveling to these places. I'm like, damn, I never thought about that. Which is why I know when people follow me, the same thing, right? It's a beautiful thing. So it's from other people and also just researching, right? Like just researching like where I haven't been yet. And I just realized there's so much cool things out there.
What kind of traveler are you?
I'm a very diverse traveler,
right?
Like I like nice stuff. So I love luxury.
I know. I be watching.
Right?
Like you was on a yacht. Where was that yacht?
Yeah, Maldives. Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah. So I like luxury travel, but I'm not like bougie. Right, so like
that yacht was real bougie.
Facts, 100%. Yes, it was. I like that stuff, but I also do like getting within the culture. I like getting around the locals, right? I like trying local foods and actually building with the people. I like the speakeasies, the secret bars.
He loves the speakeasies. You be finding those speakeasies.
Yeah. Just went to 4 in New York.
How are you? The internet? You're just finding them, or people are telling you about them?
They come to me.
He's like, I attract them. They just find me. Okay. Where are you staying though? Because you said you like nice things, but you be with the locals.
Yeah.
Where you be staying?
Oh, I'm staying in nice hotels.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
So I'm either staying in a nice hotel or I'm staying at a very unique hotel or Airbnb.
Okay.
That may not necessarily be a nice, like, case in point, like I say in this like crazy dome, but it was in a jungle. But it was like a unique,
once in a lifetime type experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's either luxe or it's like unique once in a lifetime experience.
Do you do solo travel? I mean, obviously not, because somebody be videoing you on all these
so
trips.
I've been on a couple. It's weird. Like sometimes I'll try to start the process of going on a solo trip, and I may tell a couple people, and then somebody ends up pulling up, or a couple people end up pulling up. Like that happened to me going to Brazil at New Year's Eve a couple years ago, and I was like, yo, I just booked it. Didn't tell nobody, just booked it. People, yo, what are you doing for New Year's Eve? Oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this.
And here they are.
People pulling up.
I love it. So who be video you on these trips?
So sometimes it's my girl.
Okay, I thought so. Because I'm like, it be everywhere. It's like you can't just be hiring a videographer, even though I know some people do.
Sometimes it is a videographer.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just a friend. Me personally, it's one of those things where, if you're gonna travel with me,
you gonna work.
You have to shoot.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I do the same thing for whoever I'm traveling with. I'm very serious about content, and I don't know. I just love content. I've been creating content, especially when it comes to travel since 2013. So I don't know. I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm not one of those people where like I'm gonna content it up and not enjoy it. I'm gonna enjoy it to the fullest.
Yeah.
Because I go with the content playing.
So you're serious. I mean, the finished product is so amazing that I'm not surprised that you like are mapping this out, but you are serious about it.
It's like art.
Wow. Your girl don't be getting mad at you? Like another video?
Sometimes. That's why I got shooter.
Come on, shooter. Okay, so speaking of your girl, I knew that you was booed up, so I ain't gonna get too much in your business. I'm just gonna ask you some general questions that the single ladies out there would like to know. So for a successful, you're not married, so I'm going to say single.
Correct.
For a successful single man, what were some of the things that you were looking for in a potential partner?
Somebody that was somewhat like-minded.
Okay.
And when I say somewhat, like, you don't have to think exactly like me, but you need to have a growing mindset, right? Like, I cannot be with somebody that's like just complacent, stagnant, and not open-minded to growth. So you have to be growth-minded. You have to be willing to grow in all aspects, not just in finances or just mentality in general, but like spiritual, right? I mean, physical, health. Like, you have to be constantly growing. How can we become better? Because I feel like if we're going to become better as a unit, you got to become better as an individual.
Yep.
Right? So growth mindset. You got to be intentional, right? Like, again, you don't I always, like, people ask me, like, do you have to be with an entrepreneur? Not necessarily. I would prefer, but my thing is just be great with whatever you choose to be. Like, just like excellence should be the goal.
In any area.
In any area. That's just my deal. And you have to have a good heart, right? Like, if I feel, I don't know, like, it doesn't even have to be for me, but I just feel like you just have to have a good heart, period.
Like, just being a good person.
Yeah, just being a good person. That's really important, because the way how I like to see it is, like, this person is going to be, potentially a future, mother of my child. You know what I'm saying? I don't have any kids yet. So it's like, I think about, well, if I had kids just like them, would
I be mad at myself?
Yeah. Would I be mad at myself, or would I be cool with that? That's how I think. And that's probably why I don't have kids yet, right? Because I think very long term when it comes to that.
Okay, so for the single ladies out there, I got to do it for my single ladies. A lot of these single ladies are getting played. And I know that you're not out here playing games, but maybe in your former playing games years, if you had those, what would you say are some of the signs that a woman is getting played that she might not recognize?
Dang, that's a good question. The signs. What are the signs? Well, I feel like a lot of, I don't know if I should say this, but
say it.
I feel like oftentimes women don't really trust their discernment.
Facts.
Right. I feel like a lot of times women will see, like, they'll see like red flags, and they'll probably just, just kind of just act like they don't see it. Right. Like, for me, I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna say like I was like I'm a perfect guy, because I'm not. But at the same time, I just never want to string women along. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I was gonna be serious, I'm gonna say I'm serious. But if I'm not, I'm not.
But if you're not, are you just not going to be serious, or are you going to say you're not being serious? Because those are two different things.
So it just really depends. If I'm asked. So here's the thing. If you ask me, I'm going to tell you.
But if you don't ask, don't tell.
I think that's probably.
You know what, though? That's the conversation we've had, because women don't ask enough questions.
Yeah.
A lot of times, a man might not lie, but you're going to be able to tell whether or not he's telling the truth.
Sure.
But we don't want to know the truth, so we don't ask the question.
Exactly. Discernment. You know what I'm saying? Discernment. I just think that's a really important thing. And also just kind of like, I don't know, pay attention to the man. Like, I feel like you can tell a person's character by the things they say and the things that they do and how they move around other people and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a perfect man, but I know my character, right? So I know if you ask me a question, I'm going to tell you the truth. Right? So it's like, that's just me.
Okay, so I got one more question. I need the truth. What would you say? We always talk about like red flags that women need to look out for, right?
Yeah.
What are some red flags that women could be displaying that they don't realize? So she shows up to the first date. What are some things that could be like, oh no, can't be a second date?
So I've been in situations where like 100% I could tell this girl's like focus on money. Like, I get it. Women don't want to be with the broke man. They don't want to have to be with a man and struggle. I get it, and I respect it, right? Like, I get it. But at the same time, like, I don't think most men don't really want a woman that's like, you can tell they're all about your bread. And I feel like if they say certain things that imply that, like, that's a red flag, and they may not even realize it. Honestly, I see women out here that have literally like that just can't find a good man, and I've never dated them, but like we're cool to an extent. But I see gold digger vibe, by the things they say, and they'll be like Chanel bag me, like why? You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, okay, cool, you like Chanel, but it's like,
You setting yourself up.
Yeah, like, is that the only thing you want? You know, and I feel like if you with a successful man with a good heart, and if you guys really, you know, build organically, right, and there's something of substance, like, you'll get the Chanel. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I feel like if you lead with that, that's a red flag.
What else? Because men say money first all the time.
Yeah, because that's just.
Is that really a thing?
Yes.
Ladies.
Yes.
I'll be trying to ride for y'all, but you gotta do better.
It is.
Stop. Okay. You got another one?
I'm trying to think what else.
Something that a woman could say on a date, on the first date, that you're like, oh, girl, check, please.
Well, yeah, it could be like maybe a woman would want kids too fast, right? And they would make that very clear. Heck, man, I've had conversations with women that they wanted a kid so fast. It was like they don't even care if the father child was going to stick around. It was like,
they said that to you?
Yes. And it's like, it was just in their mind, they just felt like it was time, right? And I get it. Women have a certain clock. I truly do. I truly get it. Obviously, I can't fully relate to it because it's just difference of men and women. But at the same time, it's like a man doesn't want to come into a situation and you're like, with a clock over his head, I'm ready to breed. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, what?
That is, yeah.
Like, again, I at least want to know that, you know, you're the type of woman that if my child would like to become. And I think about the other way around. Like, how do you know if I'm the right guy?
I'm a worthy candidate.
Yeah, that you'd want your kids, you know, to be like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
that's kind of irresponsible if you're just willing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'll definitely say that. But just, yeah, I trust my discernment. You know, I go vibes. There's definitely a vibe check.
Definitely a vibe check.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Speaking of vibe check, we about to play a little trivia. Pullyourcard.com.
I heard about these.
Grab a deck. You heard about it on the streets. The streets is talking. Okay, so this is the trivia deck. Inside Pull Your Card, there are 5 different games. We're going to keep it easy, light for you. So we're going to do trivia. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Okay, we're just going to do 2. Who played Martin Lawrence's sister in Bad Boys 2?
Who played Martin Lawrence's...
I need a dun, dun, dun.
Oh, Gabrielle Union.
Okay, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
All right. What city... Oh, this is easy, but... What city did Craig move to get away from Debo? Oh, maybe it wasn't that easy. Okay.
What city did Craig move to? Houston?
Can we add some sound effects?
Dang.
Okay. Yeah, it was definitely Rancho Cucamonga. Come on.
Oh, damn.
Come on. It was definitely Rancho.
Yeah, I
Y'all
feel
knew
like-
that though, right? Y'all knew that.
I feel like I lost my black card.
You did a little bit, but
Yeah.
you got the first one right.
Did
One
all
out
y'all
of
know?
2. Everybody knew.
Okay.
Okay.
They need to know.
Okay, he didn't know. So, but y'all knew, right?
I didn't know.
You didn't know.
All right, there we go. I don't feel that bad now.
But that's good. I thought it was really easy. So okay, it's some heat in this deck. Okay,
Yeah.
pullyourcard.com. Grab a deck to spice up your next game night. Kemoy, I have enjoyed you.
Yeah.
I hope it wasn't too much, right?
Nah,
the men
nah.
be y'all. Come on down to the studio, y'all. I'm not gonna be that bad.
Pull
They
up.
be scared. They
I
be
know a
scared.
couple. I'm bring down here.
Please.
Yeah.
Tell them.
I love what you got
connect
going
the
on.
dots. Thank you. So look into this camera right here. Let the people know how they can follow your travels, your adventures on Instagram, and we're gonna link the course Limitless B&B down below.
Yep. Well, you guys can find me on Instagram, right? Kemoy, KEMOY _ Martin, MARTIN. I have to spell it out for you because my name's unique. It's Jamaican.
Come on, Jamaican.
Wagwan.
Wagwan. I've been trying to learn Patois. Wait a minute. Teach me something real quick.
Nah.
No? You ain't got it? Wagwan.
That's all you got.
Okay. I'm still working on it.
Just go to Jamaica. That's the fastest way to
I love
learn.
Jamaica. I ain't learned nothing.
Best
but
place on
I'm
the
working
planet.
on it.
But TikTok, right? Also Kemoy Martin. Well, it's really the Kemoy Martin, but I'm gonna get Kemoy Martin eventually on there. But if you type Kemoy Martin, I'll come
We'll
up.
find you.
Yeah, YouTube Kemoy Martin. If you put in my name, there's not a lot out
The
here.
one and only.
Yeah, there's
Check
a few,
'em out.
but they're from Jamaica. It's a Jamaican name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is the cool one. So
Yeah.
check them out. I appreciate you. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode of the Girl Stop Playing podcast. Make sure you subscribe on all audio platforms. And if you're enjoying the show, leave your girl a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. I'll see you next week. Peace. Hey girl, hey, I hope you enjoyed that video. This channel is all about encouraging you to stop playing with your potential and start working for what you want in life and in love. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you'll be notified when the next video drops. And comment below and let me know what you want to see on the next video. Peace out.